Orbiton Weekly, another
It hasn't
week.
been so
So
weekly, but it will be.
it
Crazy
will be.
couple, crazy couple of weeks, a week of sickness. Daniel died.
Yes. Yes, I was quite sick. Um,
I was
it
sick and I sucked it up because I'm a woman.
that is a joke that they say. Hey, it's like guys when they get injured, they're totally fine, but then when they get sick, it's like
Mm-hmm.
out of commission. And I really felt that way. I did feel like brain dead from my sickness, but
I believe you.
we are back.
We are
We are
back
back. But
with
we've been busy.
product updates. We're
Hmm.
back with lots of clients, hundreds even.
Not yet,
Some would
but we're
say
getting there. We're
it's
getting there. We'll be there imminently. We're at 44 now. I think we had four new co's come on this week, and it's been great to see actually because we've seen companies start to use our system and test it more thoroughly. And then even we've actually started to see internal team members use Orbiton for preparation of their own materials. And we've been kind of going heavier and heavier into the workflows of existing workflows of IR professionals and thinking, how can we take the workload off of their hands
mm-hmm,
and how can we focus on replacing workflows rather
mm-hmm,
than task-based? So
yeah,
like we were talking about this earlier,
yeah,
when it comes to software, it used to be that if you imagine it like columns of niche industries,
yeah,
it used to be that you would have a problem and that problem would go across multiple industries. And now it's changed. This is at least our thesis, is that it's changed from that structure to vertical, where you have a niche and you solve multiple problems for that niche. An example that is very clear as day is like if you look at HubSpot's share price and you look at CRM systems. I don't think CRM systems are going to disappear.
mm-hmm,
And I think that there's a lot of things that HubSpot does that people underestimate how easy it would be to vibe code. So I do think the depreciation in the share price is a little bit of an overreaction.
mm-hmm,
But but with that said, the structure of software being you have CRM and then you use it for real estate, you use it for B2B SaaS sales, you use it for consumer sales, you use it for public companies, that same software going across the board. The problem with that is that AI's power is in specialization.
mm-hmm,
And so you're ending up with more AI software companies like Harvey, where they have a niche that they focus on and they solve multiple problems within that existing niche.
mm-hmm,
And so that's kind of the approach that we've taken is more of like a vertical IR firm where we look at the workflow and we solve multiple problems.
yeah,
So like things like website updates, pitch decks, CRM, email blast, as well as automating conversations with investors and shareholders
mm-hmm.
where necessary.
Yeah, um that's a good explanation to explain what vertical even means. I have had to do this with some people outside of work where it's like, well, what does vertical AI even mean? Like, or what does a vertical even mean in and they do understand niche, but if I say, okay, like HubSpot, like you're talking about, is like you start here and then you are like, yeah, and then we also just like we do it for everyone and
Yeah.
anything. And then like if yeah, you're starting at one really specific point and you go further and further and further. Yeah, I don't even think that it is just our opinion. I think that it is just reality kind of
Hmm.
unfolding is that you have to learn to be specific with your software, learn to be specific with how you run your business. Like, for example, the Claude models that are coming out are insane, and
Yeah.
all of the AI models coming out are insane. And
Well, the
anyone,
rate of improvement is
oh,
probably the
it's
thing that's the
crazy.
most impressive.
Yeah, but you still, without building your own file structure that has the exact specific detailed context and the ability to work with it, like without your specific needs already being given to it,
Hmm.
that the AI could be the best in the world and it still won't give you what you want. So, like the topic of vertical AI versus general AI is something that I don't think that we'll stop mentioning.
No, because I think it's a structural change in how you think about building a company. It used to be very hard to build software and build
Mhm.
different tools. Now that barrier has been reduced, so you can do more with less.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like at the same time, specialization still has a lot of merit. Like here,
Yeah.
we were talking about this today, just like the progress of how fast Orbitons become.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like one of our clients with Cisco, and I asked about the projects that they have, gave me the details about the project, and I can say, I don't know, what question do I want to ask? How much gold is expected from Caribou? We'll go with that. So the time it takes for the models to generate the output and the accuracy of the output and the sophistication of the questions that I can ask, they have been continually A, becoming faster, and B, the questions that I can ask, they're becoming more and more detailed.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, definitely showing like exactly how far we can really push the models. And it's something where previously, like, I wouldn't be able to ask about specifics of the project. I wouldn't be able to ask about specifics of the reserve or production levels, and it would be very difficult for us to handle things like GAAP and non-GAAP financials. But now we can do all of that, and the model doesn't make mistakes on calculations. It knows, how to segment and categorize uh, reserves and mineral reserve data, and it knows 43 compliant rules. So it's something that's been very, very cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
Like here, indicated, measured, and indicated resources are presented separately and must not be combined. Um, so that's like another key point in how the model's behaving. But yeah, we're finding that the responses are becoming more useful, more valuable for investors and shareholders.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the back end, we're constantly looking at like new things and tools that we can build. Like this
Yeah.
is the website editor that we have for the website we built for Seva. And I can go in there and I can go and add add Mariah McDonald as chairman, and like I can request changes into the system,
Yeah.
and it will go and it will make those changes.
If building businesses is the act of solving problems that you know for other people or yourself, it is a really good sign that you are on the right track. The more that Orbiton grows, or the more that any business is growing and develops, the more that you're relying on it, like internally
Hmm.
even. And
Hmm.
so the reality of starting with like kind of a bare structure of like this is what we're going to do, and we are getting there, we're solving that problem, and then the more problems that you solve in that vertical line,
Yeah,
um, the more I use it, the more everyone uses it on the team, the more you can like go and check and rely, like you can depend on it. And
yeah,
with
and trust it.
yeah, and trust it
Yeah.
with um I mean, there's so many quotes going around right now of people like software developers full time in bigger companies saying that sometimes they're not even checking their code anymore before like
Yeah,
sending
they're just
it to check.
fully
Yeah,
trusting
and that
AI.
comes
Yeah.
with the customization. That comes with good structure because the
Yeah.
AI tech is there, but
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, it is still building a business. And if coding was the moat, why isn't everyone
Hmm.
rich?
Yeah. No, exactly. Like here, that's a really good quote. Like if coding was the moat, why isn't everybody rich? Like you could always learn to code. You
Yeah,
could always code. Like it's increased your rate of output.
yeah,
So here you can see, like, I wonder where it added Mariah. Ah, board of directors, chairman.
perfect.
So these things like this was a workflow that would take a team at
Mhm.
least an hour of like back and forth with a provider to make sure that that's done. These are things that people can now do themselves.
Yeah, that's huge, especially for web developers. They should be excited about that change rather than
Mhm.
which I understand the panic and chaos around it, but not having to communicate to the client like, okay, little thing, and then it's taking up like such a huge chunk of your time to communicate back and forth over something that should be simple, but it's not. Um, so having like the ability to edit like that is crazy for a workflow when you're dealing with clients, especially.
Yeah, and it's just like velocity of improvements and making
Mhm.
changes. That's really like, you know, you can turn stuff around and you can move so much faster, which means you can focus more on things that matter.
Hmm.
And that's our whole like direction now. And I like your point of like, look, business is about solving problems. Um, and I think the more confusing things get, the more chaotic things get,
Hmm.
the more important it is to go back to the basics.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like I really like how Dalton and Michael, going back to these two, question the
Babes.
goal of a company.
Yeah.
Because what's happened over time is people have become a kind of obsessed with like these fundraising announcements.
Hmm.
And it's like Series A, Series B, seed round financing, and it's kind of like I will say even for myself for a while, it was seen as the finish line,
Yeah.
but that's the starting point. And the goal is to build a company that is valuable
Hmm.
and over time lasts. Like the business is a game of like survival. The longer you live, the better, the more likely you are to die. And
Yeah.
so it's all about how can you continue to survive. And so I think that we lose that context when we see all these announcements and we don't see
Yeah.
the continuation of that company. And there's
Yeah.
so many things that investors
It-
will fund that will fail.
yeah. And the democratization of these kinds of tools, coding isn't the mode anymore. Kind
Mm.
of never was though.
No, never really
And
was.
everyone's asking, well, if everyone can do it, what's the point? What do I even do? What is the mode? The leverage literally comes from your unique perspective of problems that can be solved. The end. It's just building a business.
That's what it's always been.
Yeah.
And it's just that the only thing is that with software, the mechanics that still stand is that you can build something once and people can use it many times. And you can update and improve it once, and suddenly that update goes to 44 different companies.
Hmm.
Like that's the advantage of software. That's always been the advantage of software, and that's why you get higher multiples as a software company, is
Yeah.
because you can scale like that. You can't scale a mine the same way.
Hmm.
It doesn't work. Like you can't just like, oh, I'm just going to start 15 new gold mines. No, you got to find the gold. You got to get the permits. You got to get the communities on board. You got to. So anyway,
The tech really is there. I am not saying all AI is great no matter how you use it. I'm all AI on board. Like no, of course it's not always good. But like
Mhm.
the tech exists, it's out there, and the race to modernize is not necessarily like there is so many improvements out there and there's like hundreds of startups that are yet to exist that will fill these gaps that aren't being filled because everyone is focused on Nano Banana Pro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We are going to kind of continue to focus on what is it that IR professionals are doing that they
Mhm.
should don't need to be doing, what things can proactively be handled, and kind of continue to build that experience of having a companion like a coworker
Yeah,
that is intelligent and that can do all these things for you.
yeah.
And that's the direction we want to continue to move in.
Well, be safe out there and update your computers because Cloud Mythos is coming for us all.
Yeah, that's another great marketing strategy by Anthropic. Scare everybody and then get a bunch of free press.
Every time that there's like something negative that about said about Anthropic and someone's like, "Oh, that's like such a big marketing tactic," I'm like, "No, they wouldn't do that. No, 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 they wouldn't do that."
Surely they would never do such a thing.
No, they have like a philosopher on there for on their
Yeah,
team. They make YouTube videos. I watch them.
yeah,
I'm
they're
getting like
great.
absolutely sucked in to the major AI corporations
You're
drama.
you're being cultified.
I'm getting notifications like, "Oh, they said what?"
No, it's gonna be exciting to see, and like we'll have like more in-depth product updates, and we'll post more examples of conversations
Yeah.
on LinkedIn and stuff. So keep an eye out for those.
Yes. So,
Thank you.
see ya.